Tonight, we're learning more about a shooting that left an Illinois state trooper injured and a suspect dead. In the last few hours, state police have identified the suspect as a 23-year-old from New Mexico. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. The shooting happened on Interstate 64 near Mount Vernon early this morning. Holden Kuricki joins us live from the area where it all took place. What is the latest, Holden?
Well, Kelly, I've spoken with Illinois State Police spokesperson Joey Watson multiple times today. He told me that trooper that was wounded suffered non-life-threatening injuries and is expected to be okay. For the people who live out in this area and travel through this popular area, this really hits too close to home. Now, according to investigators, they responded to a call for a motorist needing assistance around 3 a.m. When troopers arrived at the scene near mile marker 72, they say that 23-year-old Brandon Griffin from Albuquerque, New Mexico, pulled out a gun and started shooting, striking a veteran trooper. After exchanging gunfire, Griffin was killed, and the unidentified trooper was taken to a Mount Vernon area hospital with what are being treated as non-life-threatening injuries. Now, Illinois State Police are currently handling this investigation. They will turn all of their evidence over to the Jefferson County State's Attorney, who will then make a determination on this incident. Reporting live outside of Mount Vernon, Holden Kuricki, 5 on your side.
New fallout today in St. Louis courts just days after the city's chief prosecutor announced she's resigning.
There were 4 trials assigned to prosecutors today who no longer work in Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's office. And our Christine Byer spent most of her day in court finding out what's happening in those and other cases. Christine.
Mike, thanks so much. So in those 4 trials, different prosecutors were asking judges for continuances, which were granted. Some of them have been continued beyond Kim Gardner's resignation date of June 1st. That means longer times in jail for some of the accused and longer wait times for victims. Now, the cases in question include a weapons case dating to 2017, a first-degree murder case from 2019 involving the death of a man killed in North St. Louis, a first-degree murder case from 2020 from a 2020 home invasion, and an involuntary manslaughter case from 2022 in which a man was killed during a shootout in the Baden neighborhood. All of them, again, were assigned to prosecutors who have left the circuit attorney's office in recent weeks. I did catch up with St. Louis's lead public defender, Matt Mahaffey, who says cases assigned to non-existent prosecutors mean further delays for his clients sitting in jail.
So what are you hearing in terms of who is going to replace Kim Gardner and how fast that's moving along? Because she leaves June 1st, and that's coming up quick.
Exactly. So it is the governor's job, Governor Mike Parson's job, to appoint a replacement. And that replacement is expected to serve until next year's election, which is in November of 2024. Now, he is actually in the courthouse as we speak, working on finding out how he's going to make this appointment and who he's going to appoint.
And what about Kim Gardner? Have we heard from her or seen her? Is it kind of like a lame duck situation now for the next 2 weeks, or is she actually doing some work within the office?
Sure. I mean, we have heard nothing from her in a public statement to reporters. She made a statement on a Facebook website Friday, but we haven't seen her today. All of the cases today, there were assistant prosecutors that did show up and did tell judges and request continuances. So that did happen today.
We know before she resigned, there was that contempt of court case. Is that still moving forward?
That is still pending as we speak. That hearing is set for May 30th. There's a special prosecutor that's been appointed to oversee that case. And again, she's been charged with indirect criminal contempt for a case in which an assistant prosecutor did not show up for trial.
Those 4 cases today, those are 4 cases. There's sure going to be more in the upcoming days and weeks. So will the judges just do the same thing in those cases?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just waiting to see who is going to show up each day for these hearings and what they're going to say is being done about these cases.
Boy, it's going to be a mountain of work for whoever gets that job, for sure.
Absolutely.
Christine,
Thank
thanks.
you. Okay, let's check in with Jim Castillo for the Weather First forecast. It wasn't that muggy today or hot, and I am glad we did not have a lot of humidity. However, Jim, I'm sure it's on its way.
Yes, it sure is. You know, Thursday all the way through Mother's Day, it gets a little bit more active and the dew point will climb. Now, we had dew points in the mid-50s today, so on a normal day, that would be a little bit humid. But since we've been in the 90s and at dew points in the 60s just 2 days ago, today feels a lot cooler. And the high temperature in St. Louis was 75, the current temperature. But in St. Charles, it's 77 degrees. And there's a couple of storms out there well to the west of us, right around Osage Beach and in western Missouri, where they have a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. So some clouds are trying to move back in. Right now at the Missouri Botanical Garden, you can see the Chihuli's out there. A really nice evening. It's going to be dry, so no worries about any rain. 75 degrees right now, and again, that's the high for the day. Easterly wind at about 7 miles an hour, and humidity is right at 50%. Look at this, western Missouri, southwest Missouri, and look at that storm activity in Kansas. We're watching it. It's close by, but we're not expecting any of this activity. Now, the problem is these outflow boundaries from the showers and storms out to the west. We'll watch those as they move into western and central Missouri, and even a couple of warnings, like I said, right through, it looks like Urbana and just southwest of Osage Beach. So we'll get some cloud cover from that. But when you get these outflow boundaries overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, some of that weakening activity will move in our direction, and then we might see a scattered shower tomorrow, but a better chance of seeing this rain as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Mother's Day. It gets more humid and those dew points climb, and the upper level low is going to be cut off. So we'll talk a little bit more about this coming up in Maine weather, but a really good chance of rain in here. Much more of that in just a bit, Mike.
Okay, Jim, thanks. Anti-Semitic flyers are spreading across parts of central and west St. Louis County.
Residents want to know who is leaving the flyers at people's front doors. Elise Schoenig spoke with the St. Louis Holocaust Museum about what is happening in this neighborhood. Elise, can you tell us?
Yeah, so Director of Education Helen Turner says they've seen this anti-Semitic rhetoric growing. But much like what the museum stands for over there, she says we can look for light in this darkness. Now, several residents posted on social media they found anti-Semitic flyers at their front doors, and Turner says it's important to remember that anti-Semitism started before the Holocaust and it's still around now. She says negative messages like these can be used positively through conversation and through community. Now, she also says it's important to report anti-Semitism, so please know you can contact your local police department or the Anti-Defamation League.
Emerson Electric is considering an office in Clayton. That is according to our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal. Emerson is looking into taking over several floors of a new tower on Forsyth. Last year, the company said it plans to move its headquarters out of our region. It's been in Ferguson for decades. It later decided to stay in the St. Louis region. We still don't know what Emerson would use in the space in Clayton or if it's still searching for a headquarters somewhere else. In less than an hour, the EPA is holding a meeting about the Westlake landfill in North St. Louis County. Radioactive material was buried at the landfill in the 1970s. The EPA is working to clean up the site. There will be a meeting tonight at 6. That's at Machinist Hall on St. Charles Rock Road in Bridgeton. It is open to the public.